Okay, guys, my first mission as president will be to make public transit accessible to every county in each state. Like, even if it's just one bus, I need like up in the Appalachian Mountains to have access to it. Like up in like deep West Virginia, Appalachia, deep South Carolina rural areas. You know, that's where I'm from the South Carolina. North Carolina, Georgia, like all these town like Western Maryland, all needs to have access. Southern Maryland, all. I need every place to have access to public transportation because no one ever needs to be stuck somewhere. That is so terrifying. One, it needs to be affordable. It needs to be affordable, and I need each bus to have its main destination at like a main hub. It doesn't have to be a mega major hub, but at least a main hub because say someone's really poor, they need to be able to get to like a major hub to get some access to like, you know, like okay, think about it. Like if you're in upstate South Carolina, you need to have access to Charlotte. That bus or something, like at the end of the day needs to like dock in Charlotte. That way, God forbid, you can stay on the bus all day until you get to Charlotte, and like it needs to be like you get what I'm saying, like a way to get these people to a major location, a major hub. If like they're like really poor and need access to like the doctors or stuff like that, because not all places in rural areas have access to like healthcare and stuff like that or grocery stores, like major places. So yeah, like that would be like my biggest thing to have at least one bus go through every rural area just in case, like just in case. And I think that would be so beneficial to like it being like a smoother transition for the country. Oh, also, I want all of the transit systems in the United States to connect, like have a connecting point at some point. That way, everyone can like move thoroughly through the transit system a lot easier. Now, I love the Greyhound. I'm not like negating that, but sometimes the Greyhound is a bit too expensive. That's more of like a direct way that you need to get directly from this place, maybe have a stop or two, but for like those people who are not that like who aren't can't afford that and don't mind the longer commute, I need them to have access to public transportation at every step of the way. I think that would be so beneficial to like the general public. I think like I love the people talking about walkable cities, but I don't think we just do away or like over dense like rural cities because I don't want us to become like certain other countries that are just way too dense and way too overpopulated. I don't think that's healthy. The air quality is not great at all. I just think that we need more like e-buses, you know, like electric buses that you know can be powered by the sun, and in rural areas it's nothing but sun half the daggone time. So it's like it'll you know benefit it. You know, obviously the bus is gonna have like backup batteries and stuff to get through these dense rural areas, and charging stations along the way that will be like greatly charged because it's like the country and it got direct access to the sun. And you know, just those people out there who are like impoverished will always have like access to get on the bus and be able to like get to somewhere with a bigger population need be, or get to like employment need be, you know what I mean? Like just every place I think deserves the bus stop. I don't think there should be like, oh, it's off the bus line or something like that, because like that's fine and dandy when it's like a rich person in a rich neighborhood, but when you get to these where are your workers gonna go on the bus? Like a lot of people had to realize that like in Maryland, oh, the people who work here who are going to actually work these, you know, store jobs need access to a bus line. Okay, so like if you want people to have access to a bus line, you need. I mean, you want them to be able to get to work. Not everyone can afford a car. Not everyone wants to drive. Driving is very stressful. Like driving is like actually so stressful, and that is a skilled labor that people like most of Americans like are pushing to doing. And I think that's why we have so many car accidents because quite frankly, not a lot of people want to do it. I think that's why I have so much utmost respect for bus drivers because that is a skilled labor. it is skill to be able to move something that big, just like truck drivers. Like, you need a lot of times your CDLs to drive some of these big buses, and you have to have a passenger endorsement. So yeah, like I think that we really need to invest in more bus lines going um between these rural counties, and obviously there's like private ones who are nonprofit, and those are amazing. Shout out to those. But I just think that maybe the government needs to put more grants into the pockets of the people who are trying to make these private bus lines, because that is what keeps the community thriving, and they can't do it alone. Like, they need, because it's such a skilled labor, some people don't want to do it. They're scared. Not how many people in your day-to-day life was like, yeah, let me go take a big old mega bus on the highway. Most people are gonna be like, no. Most people are gonna be like, absolutely not. I'm not gonna take this big old bus on the highway. But you know who? How many people would love to be able to catch that bus that goes on the highway to get to like a major city, so they can get important things they need done, that they can get done in a rural area. Also, so we don't so like I think it would just be more healthy that people would get to have access to homes and like the countryside. Sometimes a lot of people have to leave the countryside because they don't have access to jobs, and they want to stay home. They want to live in their hometown, but they don't have a bus that will take them to the jobs. They'll need a car, and driving community to work where you have to drive it is exhausting. But if I was to like when I okay, so example, when I drove 15 minutes to work, I almost lost my mind. Like, I was literally so exhausted. But when I was catching a bus and it would take like sometimes an hour, 30 minutes, I felt pretty fine. Like, I felt pretty fine. I was like, oh, like it's like I'm just get to like watch my movies. I get to do homework. I get to do all these things. And the thing is, that bus was always crowded because even in cities, there isn't enough buses. We need more buses, on the roads. Like, I advocate for great public transportation. Like, I would go work in that sector, but like, I don't live in like a major city anymore. But like, I just think the public transportation is such a necessity, and there's so many men who could just thrive in these fields. Like, they're amazing drivers, men, women too. But like, I'm just thinking about how many like people are like out of a job right now, and their husbands like need a job. I think they would thrive as bus drivers, and I think that we need to really invest as a country in boosting public transportation. And I know so many other people agree with that. And they talk about walkable cities. I love walkable cities too, but I think that a bridge to that, so that we don't overbuild, because I don't believe in overbuilding, because a lot of us who live in a country, we don't really like it when these are overbuilt, is to add more bus lines. Like, it will be so oh my god, I have so many ideas. like like obviously you have your main bus lines that goes to each neighborhood, right? Sometimes two if that's like a dense area, and there's a lot of people, especially like a urban area that's like a pocket that's like needs access to like the major city for work or school or whatever, like college, because most kids are gonna go to school like in their hometown, right? But you need like one bus to go to each rural area, and then have it go to like the major hub at least like maybe once or twice a day, or more often, to complete the loop, if that urban area, I mean, if that major city is like not too far away. I think that would be great. Like, I think that would be absolutely like amazing. And or there could be a connector bus that just goes from like, say, like Charlotte to like upstate South Carolina. But each of these little pockets are gonna need at least one bus that like commutes around it or goes through it if it's like a smaller pocket. But I'm telling you, I know that if we had a dedicated bus in these smaller pockets, that they would be utilized. You know, people would love to get their groceries and just hop on the bus and don't want to worry about like a ride. Just pay their little $1.50, if that, which I think the bus is a bit out of hand sometimes with these prices. Pay their money, get on the bus, have their little grocery tote, and call it a day. Like, so many the elderly, because I know a lot of elderly can't even see to drive anymore. Don't never wanted to. So many young people, teenagers, everyone could utilize the bus. Please invest in our public transportation, government. Like, if I was in government, this is like the first thing that I would want to do. I think it would increase everyone's quality of life. If you no drunk driving, because they can hop a public,